Boom. Much love. Shalom, Israel. Much love, much respect to our Father, obviously. I want to show something real quick to y'all and turn that down a little taste. I want to give respect and honor where honor's due to this sister. Baby, what's her name? Sister Tamara? And I'm going to put a link in the description of her name. She dropped a jewel of information that all men need to know. Red alert to all men, okay? We oftentimes, we see things going on and we like to point fingers and blame, but we're not realizing what scripture said. And I'm going to pull two scriptures on this. This is going to be a very quick video, right? I'm asking you guys to take a look at the video. Watch this video, right, what we do, and then also watch the video that's in the description and then formulate your opinion. The video in the description is like 5 minutes. This video shouldn't be long that I'm doing, okay? Go ahead and grab, Brother Asher, grab Revelations 12 and 14. Start there, Revelations 12 and 14. Look at what this says. And then in the other Bible, go ahead and grab Brother Asher, Isaiah 40 and verse 30.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 14.
Okay, keep reading.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
2 wings of what?
Of a great eagle.
So remember the animal that's being used, okay? Keep going.
That she might fly from the presence of the serpent to the wilderness.
To where?
That she may fly from the presence of the serpent to the wilderness.
Now, you showed how the wilderness is the Americas, okay? Now keep going.
Into her place where she would be nourished for years and months and days.
For time and a half, right? Keep going.
Then the serpent sent a flood of water out of his mouth after the woman.
Many nations, the flood is what? The waters are what? Many nations, right? Keep going.
So that he might cause her to be swept away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the water which the dragon had spouted out of his mouth.
Okay, now pause. The key part that I want to point out is that when the woman needed to go somewhere, okay, there were wings of an eagle that took her where she had to go. Now go over there to Isaiah 40. Now listen to this one. Go right there. I want you to go there. Watch this. So the wings of an eagle took her, right? You guys heard that? Wings of an eagle take her. Precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Line upon line. Here a little, there a little. For with stammering lips and with another tongue shall speak with this people. Now look at what he's saying. So find the next precept you find for this. Go ahead.
30 and 31.
40 and 31.
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31.
What does it say?
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
Pause. Psalms 46 and 10. Be still and know that I am God. Oh, they wait. So there's a context of who he's telling to wait. Keep going.
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
Hold on. We heard about that same eagle that was in Revelations. Okay. So pause. So now we have, even in Ezekiel, if you want into the context of that, go read Ezekiel chapter 1, verses 7 through 13, and you'll see that Ezekiel saw a man at the face of a man, an oxen, right, of an eagle, and of a lion, right? Did he have all those faces? It's impossible. No. Those are attributes to the personality of the person, right? Once again, the eagle has what? Vision, right? What does the lion have? It has regality or royalty that it has. What does the oxen have? Durability, right? What does the man have? It's coming in bodily form. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's saying. He's describing attributes of certain things that are applying to the earth, right? Remember, we listen to rap, and when we listen to rap and metaphors and certain things or certain music, whatever you listen to, right? We can rock and bang with it, but we get into the scripture, we get very lame. We get very literal, right? We lose the spiritualness of what the scripture is talking about, realizing that our Father is a spirit, right? And he's not what a man. Okay, so we got in Isaiah 40, 31, he talks about even young men shall lose strength, but they'll mount up on wings like eagles. Then we have Revelations 12, 14 through 16, says that the woman was carried into the wilderness, what? On wings of an eagle. So who are the people that are taking the woman there? And I'll let you guys draw the context. You guys draw the context that you want to draw. Okay, now I want to show you guys something. There's a sister Sister Tamara, Sister in the Truth, and we'll post a link in the description of her channel. She does amazing work. She posted this thing called the Antichrist Codexes. Basically, there's a code that all the elite or the people of the highest order of the Satanic order, something they follow. There's a code that they follow. Okay? Go ahead, turn that off for me. I want you guys to check this out. So, what you're going to see right now, I'm going to go to it.
You've indicated.
I'm going to fast forward to a certain part. Once again, I'll have the link in the description. She talks about a myriad of different things, but watch this part. Look at this part. She brings up a part about. She talks about something called Christocratics, right? Christocratics, right? Christocratics, right? Is a program used by human cyborgs to become convincing false Christians and fool, right? And fool the churches. And the bride space is a rogue program that convince women, look, listen, that convince what? Women, right? Via transmitted visions and dreams. They heard from God and are consequently convinced they are married to Christ. Remember what the whole scripture, the premise of the scripture is talking about. It's about Matthew 25, right? The whole chapter. Christ asked the question. They asked Christ a question. When is the sign, what, of thy coming? They asked him a question. Matthew 24, verse 2, he responds. He says, the first thing he says back to them is, let no man deceive you. Now, why would they ask him when he's coming? And the first thing he responds back is, let no man deceive you. If you see right here, once again, if you can't see me right now, it's okay. Watch the videos. 5 minutes and like 40 seconds. No big deal. I'm going to read it one more time. Listen to this. And we're going to go to another part. The next part is crazy. It's the Christocratic. Now, the Christocratic, it's an AI program that's already in the works. That is working right now in the earth. Right? Is a program used by human cyborgs to become convincing to false Christians. Notice in this context what they're talking about false Christians are. They're gearing themselves towards women. If you go to Matthew chapter 25, when Christ says, let no man deceive you, he gives the signs in Matthew chapter 24. Matthew 25, he gives two parables. The one parable is the parable of talents. The other parable is the parable of what? The 10 virgins. 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. But they're all what? Women. The next portion of the parable is men that he's dealing with. But Satan's focused on the same thing he's been focused on in the beginning. The women, right? If you guys listen to this video, the song that she's choosing is a song by Eminem. It's called Venom. And at the beginning of the song, he says, knock, knock. Would you please let the devil in? How did Satan get into Adam? Through who? Eve. Me and my wife were watching this a couple days ago, and my wife said, damn, the men got to be on their game. Oftentimes as men, we think things are in a certain place with our wives because they're saying spiritual things, right? But you can say all the spiritual things that you want, because you got to remember, Satan's a spirit also. He's going to say spiritual things, right? Christ says in another place in Scripture, he says what? My true worshipers in the end will worship me in spirit and in truth. Sometimes when we're spiritual, we think we're talking to the Most High, right? You're just not fleshly anymore. But Satan, by his own nature, he speaks and mimics the Most High. So what's he mimicking right now? He's trying to mimic talking to the woman. Because why? The closest thing to the man, right, is who? The woman. So he wants to talk to the woman, not just the body of Israel, not just a wife, right? He wants to talk to a little girl, all of these things. His whole programming is geared towards the woman. He's left the man, right? They're letting men out of jail now. COVID came, they're letting men out of jail. They're not worried about the men, right? Satan's, last play is towards the women, right? Remember, in the end, you have Ezekiel. You guys, bear with me. Just bear with me on the scripture, man. I know sometimes I read comments about certain things, and I feel like if you are with me, you probably wouldn't leave certain comments concerning scripture, because I would explain that in a way that you'd probably be like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. So bear with me. There's two scriptures that speak about the end, about the gathering of Israel, and they compare them to genders. One time it's a man, one time it's a woman. Okay? And one time it's in Revelations 12, right? Right? And also Ephesians 5 is a typology of how Christ loved the church, all that other stuff. You got Revelations, talks about the woman. And the woman is what? Israel. We know that, right? We know that, right, guys? And now Ezekiel 37 is the same thing. It's the same people being gathered, but it's compared to a man. But if you look at the parable of Matthew 25, it's a man and a woman. So you get Ezekiel 37 being compared to one, right? And then Revelation is being compared to another. And what I mean by Revelation, I'm talking about genders, just genders. Because the man and the woman think differently, you know? How the man protects his wife is differently than how the woman will protect her husband. She looks out for different things than the man does. You know what I'm saying? So all I want you guys to realize, this is what Satan's doing. Remember Ezekiel 28 says Satan's perfect in what? All wisdom. So he knows where his weak point is. The woman is not weak because she's not as strong as the man. Her intellect. There's something within her, right? Based on the fall that created this. But I don't want y'all to get this twisted. There's something about the man that's weak also. We don't want to sit and point out these things. You know what I mean? We walk in like this stupid way. But men, I'm telling y'all, if y'all are not aware with your wife, not aware because the wife is like, I'm not saying something negative, sis. I hope you're not hearing me in a negative construct. What I'm saying is that men and women, you guys have to check each other on certain things. Because Satan's busy right now. He's coming after that woman, but he don't want her. He want that man. He want Ezekiel 37. If he can destroy that army, then the Armageddon never takes place. Because remember in Armageddon, a woman not going to show up. Israel's not going to show up as a woman. It's going to show up as what? The Most High is going to come as an army. The Lion of Judah is going to show up, right? But before the lion can come, what the woman has to, before a man goes to war, what does he do before the night he goes to war? He talks to who? His wife, right? So if you want to destroy somebody, right, what do? You perform what? Psychological warfare on them. Satan's dealing on some of our sisters' minds, right? They're hearing things that they're not really hearing. If y'all don't believe me, go to Revelation. Matter of fact, watch this. You can go to Revelation, but go to 2 Corinthians 2:11. Look what this says. Look what it says. Tell me if I'm not quoting what Paul's talking about right here. Look at this. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11.
Lest Satan might take advantage of us, for we know his devices.
For what?
For we know his devices.
We know these are his devices right now. Right? This is his device. He's trying to get to the woman. So as any man, when you see Satan trying to get, you got to be wary not of what she said, but why is she saying it? As a man, if you're not questioning those, because guess what? My wife questions me about things. When I say it, why am I saying it? What am I saying? Who am I talking about? Not because she's trying to check me, but she's trying to just make sure that I'm, that I'm on point with certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because we both got to we got to measure each other, right? I'm advising this the man, right? Especially if you're in an assembly. Oh my goodness. The best way for Satan to get to this. See, he's not going to get to Elder and his wife, right? In Arizona. He's not going to get to Brother Kennard and his wife, right? He's not going to get there. And let's go inside on One Nation, One Power. He's not going to get to me and my wife, right? He's not going to get to other assemblies and the heads of them, right? He's got to go find someone in the assembly. And you remember what was talked about by John the Revelator in the book of Revelation? He says, and that woman Jezebel, who what does she say about herself? She is a prophetess. Christians and full churches and the Bride Space program. But why is it the Bride Space program? Based on what? The 10 virgins, the 10 brides. It's the Bride Space program. They're lifting ships and satellites into the air to broadcast to women. It's called the Bride Space program. Bride Space. It's the bride, the bridegroom, right? The bride is who? Israel, They're lifting things off into space to communicate to the woman. Right? Is a rogue program. Rogue means code, CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, right? That convince women via transmitted what? Visions and dreams. Visions and what? Hear me out. Visions and dreams. They heard from God and are consequently convinced they are married to Christ. Now watch this. Let's take this a step further. Watch the next one. She says this on this part right here. She says, let that sink in. Now some people won't let that sink in, but she says, let that sink in. What's actually going on? Paul said we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. There's a program going on right now. There's another DARPA program called, it's called the Voice of God. Where God speaks to, well, they think God's speaking to them, but it's not God, right? It's Satan talking to them and putting dreams and visions in people's minds, right? So watch this. And I want to talk about this Codex, and I'm going to end with this. Look, you guys look this up. I haven't been able to find it. I know probably brother, what's his name? What's our brother who finds everything, posts everything?
Oh, Philip.
Brother Philip. Brother Philip be on it. Brother Philip can probably find. I'm putting it up there. Brother Philip, Most High leads you to it. Find this. I can't find it. This sister got it. You know, brother, you smarter than me. You figure this out. It's called the Crystocratic Robotics and Bridescape Wireless Program. I'm going to read it. If you can't see it, don't worry about it. The link will be in the description. Watch the video. 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Many of the finest Christian leaders are plugged into the all-seeing eye. Beguiling, who was beguiled? Eve. Beguiling and charming as clones and or cloned robotic humanoids. Simply put, the Crystocratics' chief purpose is to achieve implied consent. What is that? Listen to the word. Implied consent. I'm going to say this again. Implied consent, right, for the beast. This is Project, listen to this, y'all, Edom. It's called Project Edom. And you guys go look up Project Edom, you're going to find another word kicking. It's called Elysium. They're already there, right? Project Elysium, but that's another topic for another day. Christian women, listen to this. This is a government document, and their whole thing, notice it keeps going back to the women. Listen to what it says. Christian women love to be chosen. Listen, they love to be chosen. So let us give them, listen what Satan's saying. Let us give them what they want with Bridescape, right? With this program. These blushing brides will be all the little Marys waiting at the altar for their Yeshua or Jesus husband. They will be greatly pleased to find that this husband is the Antichrist. And I got the number of the document. Brother Philip, look this up. Codex. It says Codex 667.9. The name of the program is called at the bottom of it, The Great Falling Away. All I'm saying is, family, Satan got a plan, right? But we're not ignorant of what? His devices.
That means, based on this, that means a lot of those churches with those pastors, and a lot of them are.
He's not talking about them.
Yeah.
No. When they use that vernacular, church, the word church is not even an original word. The original word for church is assembly.
Okay.
He's not even talking about churches. The churches, Satan already shut those down.
Yeah.
He's talking about assemblies.
Assemblies, okay.
This is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Men, be men. It's your time to stand up. Ezekiel 37 has to come into play, right? It has to come. Remember, when the body came together, it became what? It became what? A great army. You know what I'm saying? It became a great army, right? And the army was what they said, a man. Men have to be men. Why did our forefather Adam fall? Right? He fell because what? He didn't stop to knock at the door. Remember, do you remember, guys, and I'll end with this. Do you remember what he told Adam? Makes a mistake, him and Eve. Then Cain falls apart, right? Before Cain falls apart, what happens in Genesis 4? Remember, Christ asked Cain a question. He said, sin is at your what? Door. But you must what? Master it. Satan wants, he does what? Just as Christ was says, behold, I stand at the door and what? He knocks. Satan's at the door and what? Y'all go listen to this video. She's playing a song by Eminem called Venom. In the song, Eminem talks about knock, knock, let the devil in. They're playing the same story. Master it. Master it. Come on. Master it. So I want to tell you guys I love you all, right? Watch the video, right? Thank you guys for all y'all who donate. This is an alert to all men, right? Be on your game. All sisters, you under attack, right? Y'all been under attack, but you under spiritual attack. I love y'all. Long live the king. So be it. Close us out.